Hello everyone, I am Hemlata Verma and I welcome you all in today's session of history. Today we will study the first chapter of your book, that is the period of transition. In this chapter we will study the events and the changes that occurred all over the world during the period of study. We will also understand the primary and secondary sources of history. We will recognize, understand and reflect on the important movements such as Renaissance, Reformation, etc. We will also analyze the change brought about by the Industrial Revolution, and we will also evaluate the impact of imperialism on the world. Let us see the important topics which we are going to study today. The first one is sources of history. Here we will study about the different sources by which we come to know about our past, that means our history. We will see that there are two important sources, the primary and the secondary source. We will study about Renaissance or Renaissance. Renaissance, the literal meaning of Renaissance is rebirth. We will also study about Reformation. Here we will see the reformation of the churches into two parts. The Reformation was done and the churches changed into the Catholic and the Protestant church. We will also see about how the voyages were made and new places were discovered. So, we will study about the voyages and the discoveries. We will also study about the Industrial Revolution, how and when the Industrial Revolution took place and how it changed the world. We will also study about the major inventions that took place during this period, which helped in the development of the modern world. And we will also study about imperialism. So, we will see in this topic that how many European countries they made their colonies in various parts of the world, and we will also find out the impact of imperialism on those countries. The developments in the modern period in Europe. Now, let us see what were the developments, the major developments in the modern period in Europe. The first one, the number of developments took place in the period from about 1714 to 17th century, which led to the foundation of the modern world. So, there were number of developments, many developments which we will study further in this video. Towards the end of the Middle Age, many changes were going on in Europe. On the first, one of the first development was Renaissance or Renaissance. So, we will study about Renaissance further in this chapter. Another interrelated development was Reformation, which we will study again. The collapse of feudal system, I will tell you how and why the feudal system collapsed in Europe. And another development was a series of voyages and discoveries. We will study about it. In the modern age, nations began to emerge. Strong rulers ignored the authority of the Pope and succeeded in establishing kingdoms. So, when the modern, we will see the mainly especially in the modern age, nations started to emerge, nations started to emerge. Initially in the beginning there were tribes, there was not a big nation, but at the end of the Middle Age and in the beginning of the modern age, we see that the religion became strong and it started uniting the country, and then slowly and steadily big nations began to emerge and strong rulers, they were ruled by strong rulers, and these rulers, they ignored the authority of popes. Okay, so we'll see, we already I'll tell you how the popes had become very powerful, and they were not only the religious leaders, but they also became the political leaders. They even used to overrule the rulers, the kings, and they also made new kings, removed the kings. So they were very much they had become very much powerful. And when these, in the beginning of the modern age, from the modern age, the kings started becoming powerful. Okay, the nations, big nations emerged. Now the rulers became strong and powerful, and they started ignoring the authority of the pope, and then they succeeded in establishing kingdoms. So the kings started becoming powerful. They stopped they started ignoring the king, and the power of the pope started declining. Next is another interrelated development was Reformation. Another interrelated development was Reformation. Now, due to the Renaissance, people started questioning the church. The reformers influenced and encouraged people to ask questions to the church. Okay, they stopped believing the church blindly. Thus, Christianity broke into two wings, the Protestant and the Catholic. We will also study about the collapse of feudal system. Now, let us see how the feudal system collapsed, what is feudal system and how it collapsed. Now, this figure describes the feudal system in the ancient Europe. Now, you can see the pictures over here. He is the king, okay, and the kings used to distribute their land among their nobles, and the nobles again, they distributed the land among the knights, and the knights made the peasant work on their land. So this was the feudal system. In exchange, these peasants used to produce food on the land and give it to the knights. Okay, and the knights give protection and military services to the nobles. Here he is giving the protection and military services to the nobles, and nobles in return, he used to give money and knights whenever the king needed the army. So the nobles provided with the army and with money. So we see that the king gives land to the noble in return gives him money and army whenever he needs. Okay, now the noble distributes the land among the knights, and the knights gives him protection and military services. All right, and knights give make the work done on the land by the peasants, and thus the food is produced. So this was the feudal system. Now let's see how it collapsed. Now let's see feudalism. What is feudalism? The dominant social system in the medieval Europe, in which the nobility held lands from the crown. Crown is the king. So nobility, the nobles used to get land from the crown, that means the king, in exchange of military services, and vassals were in turn tenants of the nobles. So these vassals or the fighters, they were the people of nobles, which the nobles used to give it to the king whenever the king needed. Okay, while the peasants were obliged to live on the lord's land and give them homage, labor, and the share of the product. So now notionally in exchange of the military protection. Okay, so this is all about, this is the definition of feudalism. Now let's know about the causes of decline in feudalism. The first one is the revival of trade. So what we see that due to industrial revolution, which we will study further in your chapter, due to that the industrial revolution, trade increased and people got job in the industries, in the factories. So the peasants who initially used to work on land for the nobles or for the knights, they just many of them got jobs in factories. So this is one of the cause of the decline of feudalism. Next is emergence of the town. So the new industrial town also emerged with the industrial revolution, and people started living in the town instead of villages. This is one more cause of the decline of the feudal system. Now technological innovations. Now we see that there were machine replaced, there were many technological innovations, new machines were made, and machines replaced people. Less people were needed on the farm or in the army. So this is also one of the cause of the decline of feudalism. Now thus we have seen the changes in the rural setup. People started living in the towns instead of the villages, and rise in industrial productivity, agricultural productivity. So due to new machines, the agriculture also productivity also increased, and there was an increase in population also, and the most of the population were engaged in trade and working in the factories. So these are the important major causes of the decline of feudalism. Now next we see the another development of the was the rise of voyages and discoveries. So the capitalist, they sent many people for finding out new places, as because till this time there was industrial revolutions, many industries were made, and the capitalist, they needed raw materials and market for their products. So they used to send send their people on big ships for the voyages and to discover new colonies, new places from where they could get the raw materials, and where they can make sell their products, okay, develop the markets. The next one is, in the modern age, nations began to emerge. I explained you how nations emerged, and people, the kings, the kings were ignoring the authority of the Pope. Now let's study about the sources of history. So the sources of history can be divided into two kinds, that is the primary and the secondary sources. Now primary sources, let's understand what are the primary sources. So the primary sources are the original documents, manuscripts, letters, newspaper reports, paintings, photographs, monuments, artifacts. I'll show you some pictures of primary sources of history. So here we can see these are some primary sources of history: the coins, the artifacts, then we can see the monuments, the manuscripts and letters. These are some primary sources of history. Here you can see some pictures of monuments, some ruins of monuments. These are also the primary sources of history. And here you can see some examples of the secondary sources like the biographies, the newspaper reports, the articles, the books written by the historians. These are some of the views of the scholars by studying the original facts. So these are the secondary sources of history. So the secondary sources are created by interpreting the primary sources by the scholars, for example books and articles. Now let us understand about Renaissance in details. The term Renaissance literally means rebirth or revival. The literal meaning of Renaissance is rebirth or revival. So what happened when the Turks captured Constantinople in 1453? This compelled many scholars to flee the place with their manuscripts, and they took refuge in Italy and imparted their learning. So when the Turks they captured Constantinople in the eastern part of the Europe, Eastern Roman Empire. Okay. So they were destroying the manuscripts of the Christians. So many scholars they anyhow managed to run away from there with their manuscripts, and they came to the western part of the Europe, which was still backward. Okay. Here the people were not developed, they had stopped studying, stopped questioning anything, stopped reasoning. These people they only believed whatever the church and the clergy said. So the condition of the western Europe was very much pathetical. So when these scholars they took refuge in Italy, they went to Italy, and when they started living, they saw the condition of the people. Okay. And then they started imparting their learning to the people again. So this was the revival of their old Greek and Rome, ancient Greek and Rome learning, which the people had forgotten. So there was development in art, literature, philosophy, science, slowly and steadily. Initially it was not allowed by the Roman, the churches, the popes to impart such education to the people, but slowly and steadily it took place, and people started taking interest in learning again they started learning their own ancient and Roman teachings. Okay. And then slowly and steadily there was development in art, literature, philosophy, science. Now people began to question everything, and they did not accept anything they were told. So initially what was happening, whatever the Pope said, whatever the clergy said, they believed, people would believe it blindly. As you have studied before also in class 7, that how religion was very strong at that time, and the clergy, the priestly class were also very strong, and whatever they said was to be believed by the people. Okay. If they said that the earth is flat, everybody believed it. If any scholar, any scientist wanted to describe people about the structure of the earth in another way, they were just killed, they were burnt alive. So people were very much afraid, they suffered a lot, and they just listened to whatever the clergies and the church would say. The churches has dominated, see, the churches has dominated the life of the people, but people now began to take interest in the present life rather than in the next world. So here people were misguided by the church. The church and the clergies would say that the church is the most important thing. Okay, religion is most important. People are not as important as churches and as important as religion. So, and they also would say that if you are doing a sin, you have to give a lot of money to the churches, otherwise they would be punished in the next next life after death. So after Renaissance, people started thinking, started taking interest and interest in the present life rather than in the next world. So, they were taught that by the learned people, by the scholars, that this life is more important. Who knows what is in the next life? Okay. So, this life is more important. They also raised question about the politics and the practices of the churches. So, people got courage. They started asking question about the evil practices of the church, okay, the politics that the church used to play. The crusades are also a factor responsible for Renaissance, okay, Renaissance. So, how crusade? Now, the crusaders, the people who used to fight, you all have studied about crusaders in the previous class. The crusades were the religious war fought between the Christians and the Muslim people, okay. So, during these crusades, the crusader used to travel far from one country to another country, and then they learned the new culture, the new way of living. They started learning science, arts, okay. So, this is also one of the factors for the responsible for Renaissance, okay. Now, discovery of new trade route also gave new ideas to the people. So, during Renaissance, people after Renaissance, after the development of industries, industrial revolution, there were new trade routes, okay, developed, new trade route developed, and people used to move from one place to another in for doing trade, and thus people came back with new ideas, okay, new learnings. So, this is also a kind of Renaissance. And inventions of printing press, okay. So, this is also important. Initially, there were no printing press, there were only handwritten manuscripts, okay, handwritten books. So, less people were able to, very few people were able to read the ideas written in the books, in the Bibles, okay. The common people did not were not able to understand what is written in the Bible. It was written in some ancient language. So, due to the invention of the printing press, now the reformers changed, they translated the Bible in English, so that the general people can also read it. And due to the printing press, many copies of the articles, the Bibles were made, and many people started reading it. So, this is also one very important reason for Renaissance. So, the next topics of this lesson will be explained in the next video. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Thank you.